Hey, everybody. It's Thursday afternoon. Dr. Dan is experiencing a little bit of technical issues, so he'll be joining us shortly. He's just tweaking his list, but it's time for fantasy football. How awesome is that, Ross? It's good to have you. I can see you're wearing the Bengals chain already, so you are
I
ready.
got the
This is
Bengals.
Ross's
I wear
Ross's
this on
wheelhouse
Sundays.
fantasy football.
Yep, I got the gear on. Yeah, I'm so excited about fantasy football this year. It's going to be a great season. I have great strategy advice to give. I have great players that I think will lead your team to victory this year. I have some great knowledge to extend to my family on the internet. So, yes, Casey, I'm excited.
Yeah, we are. The preseason is right around the corner, which means we have to start getting people ready for drafts. And what's the most important position in football?
Kicker,
Yes.
defense.
Long snapper, very important. But from a fantasy perspective, QBs
Quarterback,
tend to be the
quarterback,
most famous people on
quarterback.
the team. So let's give our viewers our top, who our QB1s are going to be this year, then as well, some value picks and some maybe busts or sleepers you have in mind. So Dan will be joining us as soon as he works out his technical issues. So let's go through our top five, which should be pretty universal, I would think, in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say like tier one, you can make tier one like 5 quarterbacks, the ones that we're going to say. And then there's tier two, and then there's tier three. But in a 10-person league, you want to get one of the 5 quarterbacks in tier one. You really want that. It's a big advantage. But my tier one could be a little different than yours. I'm sure it is. I threw one of the tier one guys out just because passing wise, I don't know. They're usually winning and they don't really go to the pass that much because they're winning by so many points. But we'll talk about that. I get it.
Okay.
So
who's on your first tier?
So my first tier is number 1, Joe Burrow. Let me just tell you why real quick. 2 best weapons. Bengals horrible defense. They'll be coming back by passing the ball. Horrible defense. Horrible. We got Higgins signed. Chase could be the number 1 pick in a lot of fantasy leagues. Could be. Their running game's good, not great, which is good for your quarterback. He does not run the ball that much, and his offensive line has improved a lot during the offseason. And he led the league last year in passing yards and I think in touchdowns also. I mean, again, he should do it again. I mean, in fantasy-wise, he's your ultimate quarterback. That's me. But if you can't tell, you won't be able to listen.
Yeah.
My number 2 guy is probably your number 1 guy is Josh Allen. Weapon, he runs, scores touchdowns running. He doesn't have the weapons like Burrow has, Casey, right?
He does not.
He does not. But he's still huge fantasy wise. He's still somebody you want on your team. I'm not saying not draft him. I'm saying I like Joe Burrow. Number 3, I'm going to go with the guy that went to Arizona State for a couple years. Then he transferred to he transferred and won the Heisman Trophy with Jaden Daniels. He went to where did he end up transferring to again?
LSU, my friend.
LSU, right. And I try to forget about it. But I like Jaden Daniels. Deebo Samuel signed up to be a wide receiver in Washington this year, which is great. They got almost their same receiving core coming back. They improved a few people there too. And I like Jaden Daniels. He had some huge games last year, and he was a rookie. And I think this year he's going to be even better. But those are my top 3. Casey, why don't you take over from here? And I'll tell you.
I don't have Joe Burrow as my top 3.
I know you
but
don't.
I understand your argument.
Yeah,
I
tend to look about this, in case you're really quick. You got to go against the grain sometimes. You can't go with the herd. You're going to lose. I'm just telling you right now. So.
Oh no, I agree with you. But I tend to. I'm a sucker for the dual threat. For that, when everything breaks down, they can get points with their legs. So I have Josh Allen 1.
Okay.
I have Lamar Jackson 2, because even with Derrick Henry last year, Lamar Jackson, I think, finished the season as QB 2. And it didn't stop him from producing on his own. Jaden Daniels, I have 3 because I agree with you. I think He's special. I'm hoping he doesn't suffer the RG3 fate
Ugh,
of not Commanders, but Redskins history, where he had
I
a
love
great
the
rookie,
Redskins history. I love when you say Redskins. I love it.
great rookie campaign, and then got hurt. Jaden Daniels is slight a bill, but he seems to be pretty good at avoiding heavy hits.
Yep.
I put Jalen Hurts as 4.
The only argument there is Eagles have a great running game.
Yep.
And they're going to be ahead in a lot of these games by halftime. And then they're going to just keep pounding the ball. I love Hurts. Don't get me wrong.
No, I get you.
Guy. But fantasy points and passing yards and everything else, they're not going to be behind like the Bengals are, or even like, even the Commanders,
I don't know. They were pretty gutted in the offseason on defense. They lost some players. So I don't know. But you could be right. I'm just a tush push sucker. They didn't outlaw
legal. You can do the tush push. It's legal.
So he's going to get those touchdowns. You're not going to give Barkley the goal line carries. So I have him 4, and then I have Joe Burrow 5. But I have them all on that same tier. I believe Burrow's the only passing only quarterback that even fits in that tier at all. So
now what Ross did, something I always kind of do with fantasy sports. I hate going with the grain. I like going against the grain. I took Jared Goff as my number 5, and I threw out Hurts. I have the same as you basically, except for Burrow. I have Burrow 1, but I took Goff as 5 just because Johnson. I mean, those weapons he has there.
They have incredible weapons, and I agree, but they lost their offensive coordinator, their brilliant play caller. He went to Chicago to be the head coach, which I think makes Caleb Williams a pretty good value pick and could be a breakout player because of the weapons they have. We'll talk more about that later. But that's why I have Jared Goff as value.
5 just because I think I'll have some 300-yard games, but we both did not take Patrick Mahomes, which I love because
I have him 7. You don't have him in your top 10, so
I took him. I think he's number 9. Actually, you talked me into it. I was just like, I guess I got to take him 9, but I'm not jumping up and down about Patrick Mahomes. There's so many other quarterbacks I'd rather have.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's still arguably the most talented quarterback in the NFL. And if Rashee Rice avoids any suspension, Hollywood stays healthy, Xavier Worthy, they have some receivers there. So I could see that. At number 6, I actually put Kyler Murray, which might be a little against the grain, but Marvin Harrison has a full year in the league and has had a full season to gel with him. They have Trey McBride. They've invested in their offensive line. He's been great when he's healthy. He always has been in terms of fantasy production. Michael Wilson isn't a bad second wide receiver. He's not a great one, but he's still not bad. He married one of the best female soccer players in the world, Sophia Smith, who's now Sophia Wilson. So maybe some of her excellence will rub off on him, no pun intended. But so I like him at 6. I told you I put Mahomes at 7. I actually put Caleb Williams at 8. I think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback this year because he can run. And he might have the best trio of wide receivers with Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, and why am I blanking on his name? Who am I?
Doesn't matter.
But anyway, it'll come to me later. I think he's a sneaky one there. And I actually put Justin Fields at number 9.
Ooh, that's a huge one. I love it.
People are going to laugh about that probably because he is going to the Jets, and the Jets are notoriously bad, but his value has never been because of his passing ability, and he's been a top 10 quarterback in the league. And his issue is he loses the job, right? So if he keeps the job, he's going to run the ball 150 times for 600 plus yards and 7 or 8 touchdowns. And I think that alone from week to week will make him a top 10 quarterback. And so he's somebody you can get later in the draft. He's not going as a top 10 QB. And I think his running alone, and the Jets don't have much behind him to play quarterback unless for some reason they go with Tyrod Taylor. But if it's that bad, they're going to be gunning for the first pick of the draft. So they're going to let Fields play, I think. And
Let
so
Fields play. Let
I
Fields.
have him as my number 9.
Wow, that's crazy talk, Casey. Crazy. Disagree with a few here. Let me just interject on somebody who I think is going to have a good second year. He's another guy who was a rookie last year. I like Bo Nix. I mean, he showed a
I have
lot.
him 10.
I have him like, let's say I have him 8. Number 6, I'll tell you his number 6 is, and I hate to say it because I hate this team and I never was a fan, but this guy has a lot of weapons coming back and their running game is horrible. Is Dak Prescott. I mean, he has Pickens
I have
coming
him
back.
as one of my top value
And
picks.
CD Lamb is one of the top 5 receivers still. So I have him 6. I don't love it, but I think fantasy wise, I don't know how many games the Cowboys will win. I don't care in fantasy. It doesn't matter to me. But in fantasy points, I think he'll be in the top 10 for sure if he stays healthy. And just because they improved drastically at the wide receiver spot. So I see Dak Prescott. I like Bo Nix. I mentioned him. Another guy I think will have a bounce year. I think he'll have to come back is C.J. Stroud. Houston's roster, if you look at it, they have signed a lot of free agents and a lot of offensive guys.
I have him at 11.
And I think CJ, great rookie season, horrible sophomore season. I think this season, he'll put it together. I think he can do a great job in Houston. I think Houston is going to win that division also. Another guy that I love, and actually his last name is Love, is the quarterback for Green Bay, Jalen Love. Is it Jalen?
Gordon,
yeah.
Jordan.
I think he'll have a great season. I mean, Green Bay is going to be a good team, and he has some good receivers around him. Again, he's in my top 10, and then of course you mentioned Mahomes. But
where do you have somebody you haven't mentioned, and I don't have him in my top 12, but he's almost universally considered there. Where do you have Baker?
I have Baker number 10.
Okay.
I have Baker number 10. I like Baker Mayfield. If it's my starting quarterback in a 10-person league, I wouldn't be upset. But I had to put him in the top 10. Tampa Bay has improved 1,000,000% with their offensive line and also with their they've signed a couple good receivers and drafted some too. I feel Baker's a top 10 quarterback in fantasy for sure. I have him there. So there you go with Baker Mayfield.
I don't have him in my top 10. I don't know where I have him actually. At number 12, we've mentioned everybody. I had Knicks. I gave you my top 9. I had Knicks.
I like Bo Nix a lot. I
had Stroud at 11 because I agree with you. I mean, Nico Collins might be one of the, if when healthy, a top 3 wide receiver in the league.
I have number 4 on my list.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
Jaden Higgins, the rookie they drafted, can be a good number 2.
He's good.
Then they have a couple players, Christian Kirk and the other Jaden that they drafted, his Jaden Noel, I think his name is, as slot receivers. So they got some weapons there. I put Trevor Lawrence at 12, and this is this is a make or break. But I love Brian Thomas Jr. has turned out to be a dominant force. He's going to be a top 15 wide receiver. And then they drafted this kid, Travis Hunter, who looks like he's pretty good too. They have these run after the catch kind of monsters on the outside for them who are big and physical and fast and strong. And I could see this being a really good year for him. So those are my top 12. Those are the guys who I think are most likely to end up as QB1s in a 12-team league. Who do you have as some value picks? Somebody maybe we haven't talked about.
I'll say it, and you're going to get mad at me. I'll say it. I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. He's just money. If he's healthy and they let him throw the ball, and Pittsburgh is always like pretty decent when it comes to defense. I think Aaron Rodgers for a value pick to be your backup quarterback, let's say, just pick him late and have him there. It's really not a bad pick. And I think it's going to be his last year supposedly. So, he'll be just flinging the ball the whole season. He'll throw the ball 40 times a game. I mean, that's what he's going to do. I think Aaron Rodgers could have some like 400-yard games this year. I think he'll be huge.
Okay.
And I like Herbert for I almost said San Diego. for the LA Chargers. I didn't say it. I like Herbert. I think the second year with their coach, I think he'll make the ball like he did the second half of the season. I feel the Chargers are going to be more offensive minded when it comes to the pass. And I think Herbert's going to have a really good year. And I think we'll see him have like 4,000 yards and possibly like 35 touchdowns. I mean, he's going to be throwing the ball. I mean, their running game is okay. I forgot who they signed. They signed somebody to come in, but I think for a value pick, I think Herbert and Rodgers are my two big value picks this year.
Okay.
Who do you have for your value picks?
My biggest one, I think, is J.J. McCarthy. Like,
that's interesting.
He didn't play last year because of the injury, right? But he's got maybe arguably one of the best trio of pass catchers in the league with Jefferson, Addison, and TJ Hawkinson. They're all going to be healthy coming into the season. And we forget what Kevin O'Connell was able to do with Kirk Cousins, then was able to do with Sam Darnold last year.
Yep.
There's no reason he can't do the same thing with J.J. McCarthy, who, when he was drafted because he was more athletic than people thought. He rushed for 200 plus yards and a few touchdowns in college last year. And he had like 74% accuracy. This guy is an incredibly accurate cerebral passer. And when you can throw to those wide receivers, and O'Connell has a documented history of making pass-only quarterbacks fantasy relevant, I have him as a value pick. The other one for me, you mentioned Goff and Prescott, so I won't talk about them, is Drake May in New England. He didn't start until October and was a fantasy relevant quarterback down the stretch. And now he's a year more into the league, so the speed of the game won't surprise him. He's got dual threat ability. People forget how athletic he was. He's kind of that Josh Allen type and a cannon for an arm. And they brought Josh McDaniel in, who is a passing game guy. He's a failed head coach, but as an offensive coordinator, he was very good for years under Belichick. They have Trayvon Henderson, the rookie running back out of Ohio State, who's a great pass catching back. I just think Drake May is another one you can get late who could provide
and
real
we also
value.
got Diggs. They got Diggs too from Houston.
And Stephon Diggs. Now I'm not sure how healthy he is.
But he'll be playing. You know, he likes to cry all the time. He'll be playing.
And so, you know, those are kind of some. Now, who do you have picked as potential busts?
Anybody who's the Giant quarterback, Russell Wilson. Let's start with him.
Yeah.
Bust. Anybody who's the Colts quarterback, Jones or Richardson, bust. Miami, Tua. You know, it just scares me. I don't think anybody's going to start him. Like if you have a 10-person league, maybe in a 16-person league, you might start him. But he just gets hurt so much. And if I ever see Dr. Dan Ratner on television ever again, I'm going to go crazy. Oh, hey, look who's here. It's Dr. Dan Ratner.
Oh, my God.
How are you?
That was frightening.
How are you? Good to see you.
I didn't even know I was on. Anything could have happened.
No.
God.
It's kind of like we've been waiting for you. We want to know what team you'll be supporting this season. You mentioned it during a couple weeks ago, but I want to let everybody know watching the fantasy football show.
So okay, let's first just acknowledge I'm in a weird space with the Cleveland Browns. I don't know where to be with them. All right, you know. So listen, if the Browns started doing well and showing signs of being some kind of quality organization, I'd want them to win. I mean, I want the Cleveland teams to win, but I'm not holding my breath. So then I move on to, well, what team would I want to win beyond the Browns? And I'm sorry to do this to you, Detroit, but I want the Lions to win, and that means they won't. But you know what? You weren't going to anyway, so I don't think I really blew anything there. But that would be the team that I would support. I'd be pulling for the Bills as well, but I feel like the Lions this time.
I like Dan Campbell. I like that pick. I like the Lions. Everything about their team I like. I root for them too.
So let me ask this though. What have you covered in terms of the QBs? I was supposed
we went through the top 12.
We got the top 12 values and busts.
Okay.
But if you want to give your top, let's say top 10 quarterbacks, and we'll comment about them, how how much of a genius you are. We're all ears.
I like that. I like when people tell me I'm a genius about virtually anything I'm saying. All right. Well, so, you know,
number one.
I have Lamar Jackson number 1, but it's a little grudgingly. I'm not sure he's really.
I love it. No.
Casey
Casey had Allen and I had Burrow. So
okay, great.
So we're all three. I love how we don't agree. It's good.
I have Lamar Jackson, then Josh Allen, then Joe Burrow. Casey, you had Joe Burrow number 1?
5.
No, Ross did. I had Josh
Ross
Allen, then Lamar Jackson, then Jaden Daniels.
No, I think I did. If you see my
yes, I see. And I know, as a Bengals fan, I'm not surprised. Jaden Daniels, I have 4. I have Jalen Hurts number 5. Then to me, there's a big drop off, like very, very large drop off at that point. I think Jalen Hurts probably does get hurt by the tush push changes and things like that.
No, it's legal, isn't it? Still?
Oh, I thought they did outlaw it.
No, they didn't win
legal.
the vote.
It's legal. They did not make it.
I must have read some fake news. All right, so even so, Jalen Hurts I think is below those others, but he's in the same tier. Now after that, it's the big drop off. I put Patrick Mahomes 6th. I don't love it, but he still has a lot of upside. He's got young receivers. I've got Jared Goff 7. I have at number 8. I have Bo Nix. Where do you guys have him? Was he in your top 10?
He was in my top 10. Yes,
I have him number 10.
Okay. I mean, he obviously surprised people, but he looks like he's definitely legit from what I can tell.
He's a stud. The guy's like just a winner.
Yeah, I almost put him above Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff. He's in that same tier, I think. I have Baker Mayfield next, and 10th I have Dak Prescott.
I had Dak 6.
Okay, good. I mean, I think in that Cowboys offense, as long as he stays healthy, which he probably won't, he's got to be up there. But I like him as the 10th pick. So I'm curious. Why don't I share my sleepers and value picks? The audience can know I have no idea.
We'll
I have no idea what you guys said.
Okay.
My number 1 sleeper, I don't even know if this qualifies as a sleeper, but to me, not a lot of people are ranking Bryce Young that high. And Bryce Young had a monster end to the season last year. It looked to me like he really figured it out. Obviously, we can't know, but he would be my number 1 sleeper.
Yeah, I would never mention his name in a fantasy sports show ever, Bryce Young.
Look, I also like that they got Dave Canales to be his head coach, the one who resurrected Baker Mayfield's career. So that lends credibility to your statement. He started running more at the end of the season, which is what prompted his value.
But he also was
if you
throwing with a lot more accuracy.
Tell me his 2 favorite wide receivers, I'll buy you dinner. Go.
I don't even know. Yes. I can't even remember who
fine.
is on the Panthers.
Listen,
there was the rookie that they
rookie. Yeah, that's what we call him. The kid. We call him the kid.
But he's I forget what's his name with the T.
Okay, what's his name?
Not Mark Teixeira. It's something like that.
Yeah.
Tetaroa. There we go. He'll be his number 1 receiver eventually, but he does not have great weapons, but he didn't have great weapons last year, and he was seriously a monster at the end of the season.
He has some weapons.
I don't know about the word monster. I mean,
Xavier Legette was legit last year, not to use soft cheese over and over again. The tight end kid who was playing so well, what was his? I'm forgetting his name. Jatavian Sanders, I think.
No, that's not it. Hey, so who's your other sleeper?
I like Drake May.
I have him as one of mine.
He has him too as the sleeper.
And I'll say another deep. I can say 2 deep sleepers. One, Justin Fields. If he just
I have him in my top 10.
Wow. Okay. I would not rank him in my top 10.
I have him as number 9.
I'll tell you why not. Because he's not going to keep that job.
But who are they going to? They don't have anybody. Tyrone Taylor.
Justin Fields has lost the job to people like Kenny Pickett. He loses the
because
job.
those teams still had hopes of making the playoffs. If Justin Fields loses, if the Jets are playing so poorly, they want the number 1 pick. They're not going to try to replace the quarterback that keeps losing.
Guys, they're not going to.
I think
if you have Fields as your starting quarterback, you're not going to win your league.
Listen, I also think
in a 2-quarterback league, if he's your second quarterback,
okay, that's fine. That's a different thing. I'm
sorry. Okay, but if you
this is being recorded. I guarantee you, he finishes in the top 12 this year.
Top 12, not top. Why not top 10?
And I'll tell you what, I guarantee you, he will not be the starting quarterback of that team by the end of the year.
I love these predictions. This is
I'll
great.
take both.
But I hope I'm wrong.
I'm going to
But-
say injury.
Okay, I think he's actually going to get benched because once the Jets are done with their season, which is going to be after like 7 games, then
But they don't even have a rookie on the roster. They're not going to play Tyrone Taylor. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Or Tyrod Taylor.
They'll pull somebody. They'll pull like Kurt Warner out of the grocery store. They won't
fine.
care. They'll trade
Get
Justin
somebody
Fields.
from the CFL. They'll pull somebody out. Trust me. They always do.
But if the Jets are smart enough to just run with Justin Fields the whole time, he can be a top 10 quarterback. That I agree with you on, Casey, and that's why I have him as a sleeper. Okay, some value picks. I think CJ Stroud is way undervalued right now.
Yeah,
I don't think
we both have him in
I
our
don't think
top
he's
10.
great,
I have him in my top 10.
but I don't think he's the quarterback that is, sinking in the 20s range that people are picking him in. I still love Jordan Love to bounce back pretty well.
10.
Interesting. I mean, and he's put up those numbers before. And meanwhile, any rookie quarterback, Cameron Ward, Jackson Dart, these are the kind of players who can surprise and really become key cogs on teams, especially in superflex leagues. I don't want any of these guys that I mentioned as my top quarterback. Even Stroud and Love, I don't want them as my QB1. But in a superflex league, these are guys to go for. So who did I miss that you guys mentioned?
I've mentioned Herbert, the quarterback in LA for the Chargers.
And I mentioned J.J. McCarthy.
He'll bounce back. I think he'll have he had a good second half of the season. He was great.
Ross, I love you with Herbert. You zig and zag. I'm never in the same place with you with Herbert.
Zig and zag.
I like him. You're like, he's terrible. And then you're like, I think he's going to have a
you mentioned Dak Prescott. I think Dak's going to bounce back this year. He was hurt all year last year, basically. And they signed Pickens as their second receiver with CeeDee Lamb. So those are 2 big weapons.
George Pickens is just so mercurial.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be suspended by week 10, but still he'll get some stat. He'll make some good catches. But I just feel that Dallas has a lot of great passing weapons and horrible running games, so they'll be relying on that passing game. And all we care about is stats. We don't care about wins and losses. I don't care if Dallas loses all 17 games. I mean, I hope they do. But
most of America does.
I hope Joe Burrow leads the league in passing again and touchdowns, which he did last year.
The other guy who I think is an interesting pick is Michael Penix.
That's a great one.
In Atlanta.
I mean, he could be
Drake London. I mean,
I don't know if you would call him. I don't know if you would call him the Sam Darnold of this year because he's never been.
Well, I called J.J. McCarthy the Sam Darnold of this year because it's the same team. And Kevin O'Connell has made these quarterbacks fantasy relevant.
The only reason I would see it differently is McCarthy hasn't been a bust. He just got hurt.
He'll be drafted like either not at all in a 10-person league or 12-person league, or he'll be drafted like very late.
Well, I'll be one of those people taking him late.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious to see how he's going to do in the NFL. And because when he played at Michigan, they had, Michigan barely threw the ball. I mean, he barely got.
That wasn't his fault. That wasn't because he couldn't.
No. I'm just saying their plan of attack is running at Michigan. It's all hand off the ball. So he never had the offense telling him he has to pass the ball at 40 times a game.
Let me ask you about one other player from a quarterback standpoint, because we're going to wrap up shortly. But where did you guys rank Caleb Williams? How do you feel about him coming into this year?
I ranked him number 8.
I have him as a value pick or maybe a sleeper. It doesn't matter. But I just feel like he has all this talent. He was super hyped. He's got a year under his belt. The main reason I don't trust Caleb Williams is not Caleb Williams. It's the Bears.
But in my opinion,
they can figure it out.
They went out and got the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions as the head coach and play caller. And we saw what he did with Jared Goff and what he did with the weapons that Jared Goff has. And Caleb Williams
he's set up
has
for
some
success.
Crazy good weapons.
I have another bust, guys. I forgot to tell my other bust.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it.
You ready?
Yeah.
Rock Montana.
Interesting.
He signed a big contract during the offseason, a huge contract. Like we're talking Dr. Dan Ratner contracts. And he's going to be a huge, without Debo and that team. And that team.
I like that pick, Ross. As a bust, yeah, I do like that pick.
I would stay away from Brock Montana the whole fantasy year. I just feel he's going to be a huge bust.
All right, we have a question coming in. We're gonna need to wrap up shortly, but Tyler Griffin said, pick one: Spears, Kyle Williams, Shaheed Bateman, or Christian Kirk. Full PPR.
I'm
I would
Tajay
go
Spears,
with.
Kyle Williams. I'm probably going Bateman.
I'm going
maybe?
Shaheed. I think.
I just don't trust Tyler Slough or whoever's going to be the quarterback.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That is a good point. I don't trust him much at all.
And Spears is going to split carries.
You know what? Then I'm going to go with Kyle Williams because I do like Drake May. Listen, you're going to need to know Kyle Williams is not going to do great for the first 4 weeks at least.
Yeah.
You're going to need to be waiting on it. But I like that better than any of the other picks.
I would take Bateman, but that's me. He has some pretty big games during the year. Then he has some games where he is horrible. So
yeah,
again.
Well, you're picking boom or bust or potential or a guy like Christian Kirk.
And they also have Zay Flowers and they have Mark Andrews. And
I know. I said
they're all boom or bust. Kyle Williams is an interesting pick. Tajay Spears is an interesting pick.
Yeah.
But they're all on that fringe of bench guys, maybe flex if they're hot.
Yeah. A lot of those guys you mentioned will probably be on the waiver wire during the season.
Gentlemen, you can finish debating, but I have to run. So,
well, we have to wrap up anyway. So, thanks, Casey. Thanks for holding on the fort, guys. Guys, we will see you next week. We've got waiver wire for baseball still going with Casey and Ross, but we're going to be doing these football previews. We'll get back to you on who. I think we're doing tight ends next week, but we'll see. We're going to do tight ends. We'll do wide receivers. We'll do running backs and get you ready for your draft.
And kickers. And Casey wants to do long snappers.
Long
too,
snappers.
So
long snappers. Okay. You do that. Just schedule that in an hour where I'm not available.
See ya.
All right. Great job, guys. And guys out there, MFSN fans, do let us know what you think. Who's the number one quarterback? Who are your sleepers? Value your picks. Who are your busts? We want to hear from you. Okay, guys. We will see you same time next week.